I'm Jeff Martin. I am the program manager for Denver Water, the Gross Reservoir Expansion Program. Thank you for being here today. Really, I'd just like to start off that the reason we're here doesn't make sense. Okay, it doesn't make sense to our ratepayers. It doesn't make sense to Denver Water. We're caught over a war of words right now. But the real impact is the people who've been working on this project. We've been working on this project for over 3 years, and over 350 people have dedicated their time, resources, and passion to building what's behind us so Denver and the communities around Denver can have a bright and vibrant future, so we can have a reliable, clean water supply all the time to our tap. The 350 people who are working on this right now don't know whether they're going to continuously have a job. We don't know if their families are going to be impacted. We don't know who's going to stay. And that really is causing a lot of disruption for our project and our ability to create a real secure water supply for Colorado. I'll say right now, our workforce is questioning, should they come to the job, should they not? Our workforce has moved from different states to work on this project. It's taken us 3 years to build this specialized, highly skilled workforce to be able to build something like this. A dam of this size has not been built in over 50 years. To do this took an incredible amount of investment by Denver Water to put into our workforce, and we depend not on the equipment and the cranes, we depend on people to build this project. And right now we're really concerned that we may lose some of our workforce. We're really concerned about the livelihoods of all the partners and everybody who's dedicated their time towards this. And so it just doesn't make sense that we're here. You know, we're trying to move forward with a very safe, reliable water supply and dam, yet we're in a position where we're trying to manage our workforce and make sure that we can proceed. So just acknowledge all the people who've worked on this project for the last 3 years who've gotten to this stage. It's an incredible accomplishment what we've done, and we are going to end up building this to the top and having a secure water supply. Take questions.
Where are you in the legal process right now, and how do you plan to move forward making sure this is secure?
So the very specifics of the legal process, we have a lot of information out there. I'll just say we're in the process of appealing. We're in the process of making sure that the courts get this right and that we proceed forward and build this dam. Right now we're bringing our forces with the stay and injunction on construction. We did limit our workforce availability for the first few days. We're bringing our workforce back right now under the conditions we're in and trying to move this forward, because in the end, the safest way to move forward and the quickest way to move forward for us is to build the dam. We've spent 3 years deconstructing the foundation of the dam and the dam itself to be able to raise it. And we're very concerned about the safety, about flooding events, and the stability of the abutments in our dam. So we are pushing to get this back on track and build up as quickly as we can to provide a safe, reliable dam that's built to modern day standards and designs and provide a secure water to Denver.
How much have y'all spent thus far on this project?
So we're about $450 million spent to date on this project. Since we started construction, we've spent about $330 million just on construction starting in 2022 until now.
And would it be more, say the judge says, just build it back to kind of where it was before without expanding the reservoir? Would that be more expensive or less expensive?
I don't know, because that hasn't been designed. What we do know is what we designed, and building what we had already previously planned is the fastest, safest bet. That's what the Federal Energy Regulatory Commission, commonly called FERC, expects us to do. That's the order and what they have told us to do. They have not changed that. They expect us to build up until the raised dam a full height of 471 feet.
If the dam isn't completed to the raised height, what implications could there be for people living in the Denver metro?
Yeah, so if we don't build it up quickly and build our plan, we induce dam safety risk. We have issues where we have excavated the abutments on the end of the dams. If we have flooding events, we can have uncontrolled water releases through the dam, and that would cause environmental issues, could cause stability issues with our dam. Those are things that we aim to avoid by moving quickly and building this back up to its full height.
In terms of water supply issues for people in the metro, though, what do you foresee if this isn't raised?
Yeah, it's going to cause stress to our system without a doubt. So right now we've already drawn down the reservoir to about half its volume. If we continue and if we have drought situation, just that lowering of the reservoir pool could make us start to look at water restrictions and other things if we have a low snowpack here. We're okay so far this year, but things can change very quickly in Colorado.
Environmental groups say that you could have focused on conservation and other things rather than raising the height of the dam. What is your response to that?
We spent nearly 20 years evaluating what did Denver need to provide a secure water supply to Denver. We spent 14 years analyzing different projects, different impacts, and different mitigation. In the end, this was the most environmentally sound project. We probably have heard of Two Forks before, a massive project on the South Platte River, which was vetoed by the EPA and Denver Water led. When that was vetoed, it was specifically called out that raising projects like Gross Reservoir was the way that we should be looking, and that's exactly what we did based off of that environmentalist input that we received decades ago.
Northern Water paid $100 million to settle their way out of challenges from environmental groups. Was there an option for you to settle your way out of this trouble earlier? And are you thinking maybe you should have taken it?
So I can't talk to how they settled their project. We've gone through heavy mitigation on our project. So over the last 20 years, we've dedicated over $30 million towards mitigation efforts. We've also, in the end, raised the height of the Gross Dam, what we plan to do, by 6 feet to create what's called an environmental pool, 5,000 acre feet of storage to put water in South Boulder Creek, which we're almost standing on, to make sure to keep it healthier. That was a huge investment by Denver Water. By current standards, that could be $30, $40, $50 million easily. So what I'm saying is we have provided a ton of mitigation in the process as we went through, and so the opportunities for additional, we've gone through the analysis and we made sure that we are properly mitigated.
In the initial press release that Denver Water sent out the other day, used the word radical to describe this decision. Why do you call it radical?
Yeah, I'm not sure where radical came from. I'm not sure if it was Denver Water or not. I can't. Okay, well, I'll defer to our legal analysis team to go through that. I can say the ruling doesn't make sense. Denver Water's in a position where we stopped a critical project. We have labor force and real people issues and impacts that are going to be caused to that. And that's all because of a court's determination on two federal agency rules and how they apply them. To that doesn't make sense to us. We need to proceed and we need to get it right soon.
Said, and she said some commercial stuff.
Yeah.
That it's a hardship, largely self-inflicted.
Well, they're not self-inflicted. We had an obligation and duty to proceed on this project. There's a number of reasons why. First, we reviewed this project for over 15 years. Denver Water even slowed down this process at times to make sure we got it right. We made sure that we worked with all project partners throughout Colorado and the Colorado River Cooperative Agreement, where a lot of our water comes from on the west slope, as well as making sure that we were gaining appreciation and support along the way all across Colorado. Ultimately, we also received a Federal Energy Regulatory Commission FERC permit that was not a permit, it was an order to continue. In that order, we were told we have to start construction by the middle of 22 and finish by 2027. We have an obligation to fill that order, and that's exactly what we did.
You have asked FERC for a delay.
At the time, we couldn't. They provided an order to proceed, and so we were going off of that order to make sure that we could provide it as quickly as we could. We also have other concerns about our water reliability, our resiliency, and the risk to the system when we don't have a raised reservoir. 2002 may seem like a long time ago to many, but for Denver Water, it's a recent issue, and we just about ran out of water on our north end. We want to make sure that that doesn't happen, and every year that goes by is another year that event can happen. Climate uncertainty can strike, and we want to make sure we can provide that water reliably to the customers of Denver Water.
The environmental groups have said it would have been a better idea to bring the water up from the south side. Why did you determine that that was not the appropriate answer?
Yeah, the environmental, the NEPA analysis that took place goes through all of those studies. We do know that through the analysis that was taking place, we're sure the least environmentally practical alternative was chosen. And that's exactly what we proceeded with.
One of the judge's kind of overarching comments is this environmental impact worth it if the Colorado River is shrinking and there might not be enough water to put into the reservoir? What is y'all's response to that?
We spent 15 years in a hardcore analysis with the Army Corps of Engineers. They are the experts to evaluate this. EPA was involved, State of Colorado was involved, many other partnerships were involved. That body of work over 15 years, those are the experts to analyze those impacts, and they were found to be quite mitigatable. We provided the mitigation for it, and then Denver Water went well beyond that and provided enhancements. We provided protections for the upper Colorado River. We provided agreements on how we would draw out of there in normal and wet years, and we wouldn't draw in low water years. We provided protections on how we would make sure that we could provide more water when the stream really needs it, when the water heats up and the fishery is endangered. So those are the experts to look at the impacts and analyze the mitigation for those, and that's exactly what we did.
Does Denver Water regularly have excess Colorado River water?
So I'll have to get back with you, but yes, often that is the case in almost all water years.
Can you explain why they say 500,000 trees will need to be removed from the pool?
Yeah, that number is subjective on the size of the tree and where you're at. I think we need to clear 400 acres. That's a tangible number. So around the reservoir pool, when we raise the reservoir up, we're going to need to remove trees for water quality issues as well as for dam safety issues. We're concerned about trees getting into the reservoir and clogging. So we're going to do that at the end of the project. That was one of the big issues that we heard all along, and it wasn't part of our mitigation, but we worked with the Forest Service, who owns about half that area, and we transferred over 500 acres of really pristine woodlands in the upper South Platte River Basin adjacent to the Indian Peaks and James Peak wilderness areas to the Forest Service for further preservation. So we did a great job of finding an opportunity and making sure that we really mitigated those impacts of the reservoir filling in the future.
I know Denver Water says it plans to appeal this decision. What argument are you planning to make to have this go differently next time?
Well, we're just looking to get it right. It's pretty clear that the Army Corps of Engineers applied their rules and regulations correctly. We're just looking to get that right so we can move forward quickly.
The judge's order could be interpreted as you have a short time span to figure out how to stop this project and safely wrap it up. Is that what you're doing at all at the moment?
Well, our main concern is our workforce. And right now we are looking at how do we bring our workforce back so we can do anything, and we keep progressing that, working with our workforce. So our main concern is to bring our workforce back, be on the ready, be ready to take care of the dam safety issues we have by quickly raising this dam.
Activity right now?
Yeah, based on the judge's order, we did send a lot of our workforce home. They're now on their way back. It takes a little time to unwind what was done.
Is any work happening today?
Yes, we have over 100 people on site today. So,
What are y'all's priorities for the 14-day window? Do you for sure have?
We're getting absolute ready so we can place concrete and start raising the dam. We had planned to start raising the dam somewhere around the 10th of April. We hope to do it within a couple weeks of that. We are preparing the dam so we can raise it.
So you're not shoring up that you're going to be sitting behind.
Well, Right now, the best way we can take care of our workforce is giving them a job. And we want to give them a job and keep moving forward until we've hit the end of that time period and we know what the future looks like.
The environmental groups say that diverting water out of the Colorado River has a negative environmental impacts downstream. Is that true?
So all those impacts have been analyzed in the NEPA process. The way that we've gone about protecting the river has been really innovative. So innovative that a lot of West Slope entities in the Colorado River Cooperative Agreement, Grand County, Summit County, a lot of big entities support our project because we are putting further protections and commitments on how we're going to operate the system.
Okay, I'm sorry. So the judge orders you to stop construction. Is construction continuing right now today?
Yeah, right now we're not under an injunction. So right now the judge offered a 2-week stay of the injunction, and so we're proceeding as if we can build the dam in the future, and we need to take care of our workforce and make sure we even have the opportunity to continue and keep our workforce employed.
Have you reached out to anyone at the presidential level, administration, EPA, that level, to see if you can move forward with their help?
Yeah, I think we've made a lot of other statements on what we're doing. We're looking at every way to make sure that we can keep pushing the completion of Gross Reservoir expansion forward and making sure that we can provide a reliable water supply for Denver. So we're pushing in a lot of different directions to make sure that we can continue and provide the safe, reliable drinking water.
Without stepping away from the microphone, because I know you want to turn
Yeah.
around, but can you describe what this construction
Yeah.
is comprised? What is this composed of? How does it work?
Right.
What are you doing?
Yeah, so what you're looking at here is us right in the middle of raising the Gross Reservoir Dam. We've been doing this for 3 years. We spent 2 years just excavating the abutments. You can see the big cuts that have been made on either side, preparing the foundation. We spent the whole 2024 season raising the dam. Where you see all the stepped concrete behind me, that is what we have accomplished in 2024. About 270 vertical feet of dam construction, which is just a massive amount of work. This year we were ready to move right from where we are all the way to the top, starting within the next couple weeks.
You said earlier that this is the biggest dam that's been created in the last 50 years. Is that for Denver water or just
Yeah.
across the country?
Yeah, across the country, this is the largest concrete dam that's been built in over 50 years, the tallest. And by no means did Denver Water ever want to endeavor on tackling such a large project. Really, the only reason we're doing this is through the NEPA analysis found that this was the project that had the least environmentally damaging practical alternative. And so this is what we ended up doing. It's an incredibly complex project, difficult, but when we're done, this is going to be a modern concrete dam built to modern dam safety standards, modern criteria, and really a state-of-the-art innovative facility when we complete it.
Can you tell us why Denver Water customers would want this?
Yeah. We're in the arid West. And in 2002, a lot of our customers will remember coming down to next to no water. All our customers in the north end will remember that we just about ran out of water, and we didn't want that to happen. And so that is the primary reason. We want to be able to solve the issue and weather a drought. We want to weather the next catastrophic event, the next climate uncertainty. We want to make sure we have water for a growing Denver area. We want to make sure our city stays vibrant and the communities around it stay vibrant. And so that's why Denver Water customers want this, why we need it, why we need to continue working on it.
What about Denver Water customers, the people essentially paying this large cost? What are you prudent in moving ahead with pending lawsuits?
Yeah, absolutely. Moving ahead and moving on the contract that we had with our contractor was certainly the most economical way for Denver Water and a prudent way to go forward. We worked for years on a negotiated contract with our contractor, and we really developed just a really well thought out execution plan to execute this project, and the time was ready to move forward. That, and we had to comply with the FERC order that mandated that we finish this project by July of 2027.
Judge said in that environmental damage is not recoverable. Is there there certainly is environmental data for a large project of this nature. You no doubt weighed that. But some of it you're losing wildland habitat for elk and such, right? Tell us about weighing that environmental impact in this project.
Right. So all of the environmental impacts were analyzed in the NEPA process, and a lot of projects have different impacts. This project certainly looked at all of the impacts. Here, the environmental concern is filling and dredging of wetlands and of U.S. jurisdictional waterways. The Corps looked at that. We provided compensatory mitigation for that. We did a stream restoration project on South Boulder Creek. We provided stream restoration projects in the upper Colorado River. We provided the environmental pool behind us. We provided wetland compensation in banks. We made sure that we provided compensatory mitigation for all those. Then we went well beyond that and provided enhancements like the environmental pool. We provided the exchange of Forest Service property. We went well beyond what was required. I'll note the impacts themselves are not challenged. The analysis of impacts on this project and what those impacts are, they're not challenged. The mitigation that was provided by this project are not challenged. We've already completed all of our mitigation projects for this project in good faith, good showing that Denver Water is an environmental steward, and the environmental aspect of this project is as important as any other aspect for us.
The judge did say that if you do have to go back, if many miles on this turn, it's going to get a million.
Well, we don't believe we're going to have to go back. We believe the next court's going to get this right, look at the policy, and we're going to move forward.
Are there any violations of the judge
We believe the Army Corps of Engineers properly administered the entire NEPA process.
What is the crane doing right now?
So he's moving some equipment just to the top of the lift back and forth. We're also taking equipment off when we say lift, that's the work zone at the top. He's taking equipment off. So he's right now we're just shuffling equipment around.
How much higher does the space stage get when it's finished?
I know you're asking me to do a little bit of math here. So 270 to 400, about 200 feet. So yeah, 200 feet more from the top of where we see the formwork up there.
What happens after the 2 weeks? When's we expect that?
Now we're asking for an emergency. We'll be asking for an emergency appeal, and we'll be asking for the 10th District Court to take that up as soon as possible. Yep. Okay.